Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the March 16th regular session council meeting. Madam Secretary, a quorum is present.
Yes.
All right, going to move into item B, invocation and pledge of allegiance by Frank Marr, Assistant Fire Chief.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Take a deep breath. Relax. We will get through this. Let us go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, we ask you to bring us peace at this time as we try to handle this new virus. Father, teach us to have patience at the stores as we try to shop and buy only what we truly need. Father, bless our first responders as they go about doing their jobs and helping them to handle their patients they are dealing with, virus and other outbreaks. One of the good things of this to come is that the whole world, for the first time in a long time, are trying to get on the same page and win a war together to cure this virus that's going around. We thank you for that, Lord, where the whole world can get together and talk on common grounds. Father, we ask you to bless our city leaders and guide them to make good decisions during these times. We ask for these prayers in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Frank. We're actually going to skip item C and move into item D, citizen comments. Any person who desires to address City Council regarding an item on the agenda will be heard at this time in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Unless the subject matter of the comment is on the agenda, the city staff and city council members are not allowed to discuss the subject. Each person is limited to 5 minutes for comments to the city council. First card I have is from Mark Malloy.
Hi, my name's Mark Malloy, and I live at 7803 Hamilton Circle, past city council member for the city of Jersey Village, Texas. Citizens' comments for the 03/16/2020 city council meeting. Please make my verbal comments and documents given to the city secretary a permanent record of this meeting. The first thing I want to talk about tonight is last month I presented to the city government a signed document of many of the homeowners that live along the White Oak Bayou from Ecuador to Jersey Drive that signed the document to say that they did not want a trail built on their property. They own the property to the middle of the bayou. They do not want a trail running along the back of their property that is on their property. Okay. So anyway, I'm also here to ask the city government to give the property owners that have the homestead exemption filed with Harris County, Texas, the full state-allowed 20% exemption instead of the 14% they are getting at this time. I am also asking that the city increase the 65-year and older additional exemption from the current $75,000 exemption to the $160,000 exemption, which is what Harris County and the city of Houston is giving their citizens. The city government, per them, has stockpiled an estimated $17.5 million to be able to go on a spending spree. Per the cities to be presented tonight, independent auditors report, overall governmental revenues increased from the prior year by 3%. Property tax revenue increased compared to prior year by $376,617, primarily due to an increase in the appraised value of properties within the city. The city's total net position increased by $8,010,236 during the current fiscal year, an increase of 9% in comparison to prior years. The above information proves that the city has the funds to give the taxpayers their full 20% homestead tax exemption and the disabled and 65-year and older individuals the additional total $160,000 exemption that the city of Houston and Harris County is giving their citizens. So anyway, basically, the other thing that I wanted to go over here is I wanted to talk about the current situation with the golf course. And so anyway, what I'm seeing here is the golf course fund is showing an increased loss, and what it's showing is total expenses is $677,666.55, and total revenue is $620,431.64, which is showing an operational loss of $57,234.91. As of the end of January, the loss number was $26,741.48. As of this 02/29/2020 fund balance report, the total is, like I said, $57,234.91, which is an increase from January to February of $30,493.43. So basically, the city is wanting to build a golf course clubhouse convention center, and they've estimated the cost to be $3.9 million for the clubhouse and probably around $1 million for the additional parking for that. So basically, I'm just talking about, I don't see what the benefit to the citizens are to take and have them paying this money into an amenity that basically has lost money pretty much really ever since the city bought it. And so anyway, the other thing that I wanted to say was that from what I'm seeing, the amount of money that the fund balance is.
That's your time, Mark.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Mr. Mayor, if I can, just very quickly, pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act, I wanted to provide a statement of fact, specific fact, regarding Mr. Malloy's statement. In 2018 valuations, which would have been the year before the current year where property taxes were collected, residential properties, single-family residential properties, contributed a little more than $3.9 million in property tax revenue to the city. This last year, those same residences provided $3.5 million in tax revenue to the city. So taxpayers, single-family homes paid almost $430,000 less this year than they did the prior year.
Thank you. Next card I have is from Joe Hewitt.
Hi. Hello, City Council members, Mayor Mitchum, and City Manager Austin Blease. My name is Joe Hewitt. I live at 15917 Lakeview Drive, and I am president of Jersey Village Senior Outreach, JVSO, a nonprofit 501c3 membership only for those persons 55 years and older living within the city of Jersey Village. Before starting, I would like to state that JVSO has been in communication with Andrew Mitchum and Austin Blease with regards to the coronavirus since its early onset. We are very appreciative of the city's interest in our members, of their well-being. With the arrival of the coronavirus, we have learned, as well as everyone else, from the CDC that there is an increased risk for adults 60 years and older. However, the highest risk and potential for death is in those persons who are 80 years or older and those with serious underlying health concerns. I'm here today to update you on JVSO's response to the recent events to the COVID-19 as it applies to our members. JVSO is a member of a national organization, Village to Village Network. They are a resource in connecting us to over 274 villages in the nation dealing with this same problem. Unfortunately, we only have 3 villages in Texas. Currently, JVSO has 168 members, with many of our members 60 and 70 years old who are active and engaged in our community. We do have a small percentage of older members that we provide limited support with transportation, mainly to JVSO programs, as well as small home repairs. On Wednesday, March 11th, JVSO received an email, members received an email to communicate that all JVSO programs, activities, including a day trip to Bayou Bend, and any subcommittee meetings were canceled until March 31st. This date will be reevaluated as we get closer. Our members coordinator, Nancy Frankel, contacted a number of our members who are at risk to inquire if they were in need of any assistance. We are glad to hear that many were supported by family members or had adequately prepared. Our volunteer coordinator, Sandy Steffens, reached out to our vetted and trained volunteers to determine their availability to assist with grocery and prescription drug pickups. We have 15 volunteers who are ready to assist. Also, our programs coordinator, Carrie Lawrence, will be presenting a webinar this week available to all members on how to shop for groceries online as well as prescriptions. Our members who are considered at risk will be encouraged to use this system. We also have several tech-savvy volunteers available to help with account setups if any of our members are having difficulty in completing this task. This is a need for some of our members have limited experience with personal computers. It is felt that JVSO has made informed decisions and activated a plan in a timely manner to support our members and reduce their potential risk for exposure to the COVID-19. That said, our seniors are just a small number of 60 and over relative to the number of those living within the city of Jersey Village. I feel confident that JVSO will be able to support our members, but there is concern for those who are not members of JVSO if this virus were to continue on for weeks or months. Hopefully not. But consequently, JVSO is willing to share with the City Council and officials our knowledge and experience in supporting our senior citizens. There's a lot of unknown about the coronavirus, but what is known is that the City of Jersey Village cares for all their citizens, and now we need to focus on our seniors. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Your organization is exactly what we need in a time like this, and I feel like you're going to save a lot of lives. Thank you so much. Bobby, you want to read a statement from a citizen?
Yes, Barbie Freeman asked me to present a statement since because of the precautions we're taking with coronavirus, she was not in attendance. But she did say in this email to us, she said, if anyone has any doubts about angels in our presence, they have not dealt with our wonderful Jersey Village Fire Department. In the past month, I have called these wonderful people several times. Each time they arrived within a few minutes. They were kind, understanding, and very knowledgeable. I could not ask for better handling of each situation. On one occasion, they came back and took care of another non-fire, non-EMT chore. Having said all this, they, like the other Jersey Village departments, are the best.
Thank you. Couldn't agree more. Any other comments? Okay, we're going to move on to the city manager's report. Austin Blease.
Mayor and councilors, the report is in front of you this evening. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer that as well. If there's anything else the council would like for me to speak on, I can do that also.
We kind of wanted to reserve this section to talk about the COVID-19 situation. Can you update us on what the city is doing?
Absolutely. So staff and I have been discussing the COVID-19 for a few weeks now, ever since it really kind of started hitting. We've, at that point in time, about 2 weeks ago, we started looking at operations and how they could be impacted with staff if we need to go to a telecommuting situation or if schools are closed for a long time and parents with kids. So today we met again and made sure our plans are up to date where we need to be. Some people will be working from home telecommuting. We'll have a small presence here. The parks and recreation staff have done a great job of getting out and making sure that the parks are cleaned off. They'll be doing that. They'll be cleaning all high-touch areas on the playgrounds every day. They're going to be cleaning on the rest of the playscapes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays as well. Well, obviously, we are continuing to urge people to use proper hygiene, hand sanitizer, and washing your hands frequently as well. Same thing goes for the golf course. The golf course will be cleaning all high-touch areas, flag sticks, golf cart handrails, all touch points inside and outside of buildings, counters, etc., on a very regular basis. The Harris County has shut down all restaurants. They did that just a few hours ago, so that will also impact the golf course. So there will only be food to go, prepackaged food, not to be consumed inside the building. We'll be limiting people. We'll have no more than 10 people inside the pro shop at any given time to go along with the recommendations from earlier today from the president. So that's the Parks and Rec side. From a fire department, they've canceled all future fire department in-house training because of the virus. They've suspended all tours as well. They're limiting the number of people that will be coming in and out of the station, especially with all the volunteers that we have there as well. The fire station training room has been designated as a quarantine area for staff that don't feel well. Half of it's been divided so the dispatch center can be utilized. If there's somebody that says they're not feeling well, we can put them in there and quarantine them in there while they're still working. From the police department, they are checking anybody that is going to be coming in for a prisoner type thing, and anybody that has any symptoms is going directly down to downtown. They're mandatory disinfecting of all the patrol vehicles at the end of every shift, at the end of every arrest. They're just reminding all the officers to clean their cuffs and anything that they might come in contact with suspects or anything. General cleaning, citywide is a big thing. Hand washing, making sure that anything that's commonly touched is big. So I feel that the staff is prepared. We'll have a few changes in our operations for sure over the next few weeks. But I'm confident we have everything, the tools in place that we need to make sure that everything runs normally, that we still provide great services, fire, EMS, city hall, water and sewer as well. We're stepping up the checks on the water and sewer system, making sure that the water stays clean and available and healthy for people to drink as well. So every department is pitching in. Everybody's been, like I said, for the last 2-3 weeks has been looking over their operations plans and making sure that we are well prepared for when this time came.
Excellent. And I also, you sent an email out today about court cancellations, jury duty cancellations, that kind of thing.
Right. So court will be canceled for the next 2 weeks. There won't be any jury trials. So if anybody had jury duty scheduled, that's been canceled. The court is reaching out. We are posting information on our website, jerseyvillagetx.com. We're publishing information at least daily on there. Also, our social media, we're pushing things out, and our email updates as well. So we're trying to get as much information out there as we can. And if people have questions, please don't hesitate to call or email. That's obviously going to be the best way to get a hold of us for the next few weeks.
Great. Does anybody have any questions for Austin?
I prepared a little bit of comment. Just wrote some things down based on some of the things I've said online and whatnot. I'm just going to read it. I want to make a comment about the city manager's report regarding the impact of COVID-19 on Jersey Village. First, I'd like to apologize. I was not fully aware of the lasting damage that this virus would have on our existence, and I zeroed in only on the economic implications. I'm thankful for a community of individuals, Nick Artiega, who was willing to speak with me regarding my ignorance to the rapidly developing situation, and my wife, who bombarded me with copious amounts of research information. Thinking of serving Jersey Village during this difficult time, I started to reach out to contact leaders in the state of Washington and ask how I could learn from their recent experience. The frank message that was received is they did not take this virus seriously enough. Like myself in the not too distant past, They said they didn't close parks and public spaces soon enough. They didn't isolate healthcare professionals soon enough. They underestimated the contagiousness of COVID-19 and their community suffered for it. I pray that I'm wrong in my understanding of our possible future weeks and months. I feel that we must communicate to our citizens and city management should take every precaution possible. Going forward, the goal should be deliberate steps, not panic or accidental transmission. In the coming weeks, I ask that you pray for your first responders, healthcare providers, and emergency management staff. As Austin mentioned, this county and city of Houston have just announced some changes to local businesses this afternoon. I believe they're on the right track. Please contribute to social distancing. I'm taking my family on walks and bike rides and getting out, but avoiding gathering unnecessary errands. Wash your hands often and avoid touching your face. The Jersey Village Senior Outreach Group is a fabulous group of local citizens that have actively served the seniors in our community. I am so grateful for the vision they had years ago, and I think it's going to be a saving grace this year. As Joe mentioned, they have volunteer opportunities for those that would like to help serve our at-risk population.
Thank you, James. Could not agree more. I think I've participated in calls with the governor every day since Thursday, and the steps are being put into place very reasonably, very deliberately. It'll be great if we can get some more testing. Of course, I think that's a big problem right now. Is there's just a big population out there. I think one thing that I heard today on the call was there's been an increase in influenza symptom reports, but not an actual increase in influenza positive tests. It kind of goes to show that either people are being more conscious of their symptoms and they're reporting them, or that this virus could actually be extremely underreported. So it's at this point, it's the best option for everybody is to just treat it as if it's around you all the time. Take those precautions. I'm a business owner and a parent, it's tough. Our business almost died during Hurricane Harvey. And so I feel all the small business owners out there, it's going to be a really, really, really tough few weeks and months, but you're going to get through this. I can give some recommendations. Call your creditors, call your banks. What helped us out a lot in our household was our ability to suspend our mortgage payments for a few months, and called all of our SBA loans, called our student loans, and that sort of thing. So if you're starting to panic, if you've been laid off, it's kind of hit at a really bad time for Houston too, with our oil prices being so low. So this is a double whammy for a lot of people. Start taking steps now to prepare. Call your banks, call your creditors. Start taking those steps now. The worst right now they can say is no. But I have a feeling, I spoke to Congresswoman Fletcher this morning, and I pressed for some relief for small business owners and business owners in our community. I would like to see in a relief bill, the next relief bills that are being debated right now, coming out soon, some relief for small business owners, for people who have lost their job maybe, or been laid off or furloughed in the situation. We tend to forget, we look at the stock market, we see all these things happening, and we think about big, large companies and the employees for those companies, but the small business owners that are going to be impacted the most by this. And so I would really call upon our leadership in Washington to be mindful of that, be mindful of business owners, because they're foregoing their own salaries sometimes in order to pay the salaries of their own employees to keep their benefits running, keep that going. So we're going to get through this. It's going to be very, very tough. But right now our goal is to keep everyone healthy, keep this virus from spreading as much as it possibly can. We need to continue doing that. Is there anybody who has any more questions for Austin? Any questions for our department heads? Okay, I think you guys are doing a great job. The preparation, like you said, you started preparing for this weeks ago, before it even made the jump to the United States, which was amazing. I think, let's never hesitate to reach out to me for any sort of questions, and if we need to hop on a call with any of our local leadership, we can be the conduit for that.
I Absolutely. We greatly appreciate that, and just want to reiterate that this is a very fluid situation, and things could certainly change quickly, and we might need to change some of the current things that we're doing and operation styles. So we'll do our best to keep the council definitely informed and the citizens as well.
Great. All right, I'm going to move on to the consent agenda. Is there any items on the consent agenda that any council members would like to move to the regular agenda? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion.
Move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion on the topic? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Moving to regular session, item number 1, consider resolution number 2020-16, reviewing and accepting the 2019 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, CAFR. Isabel Cato, Financial Director.
Robert Bell from Bell Harris Peshasik is here to make the presentation.
Thank you for braving a global pandemic to give us financial information.
Well, thank you. We're very honored to be here. And again, I hope I have a little bit of a bright news for you, at least this evening. Over on page 17 is our independent auditor's report. Very pleased to announce it's an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance we can provide to you, that all the disclosures required by generally accepted accounting principles have been included in the financial statements are materially correct. There's a lot of uncertainties in everyone's future, but I can tell you, at least looking back in the past and looking at this financial statement, the city was on very solid footings at year end, and the city was being managed in a very fiscally and responsible manner. And so that has you in a good position to weather any storms that may be in your future, or in all of our future, I should say. Over on page 40 and 41 is a statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. This is probably the best snapshot to look at the city as a whole. Your general fund is presented in the far left-hand column. Revenues for the general fund came in at $17,547,000. Expenditures came in at $20,771,000. There was operating transfers out of $5.7 million, which went over to your capital projects fund. And that gave you a net reduction for the year in total in your general fund of $8.4 million, taking you from a fund balance of $16.6 million to a fund balance of $18.2 million. Again, I'll kind of highlight that for a moment. Fund balance is the primary indicator of financial health within a governmental entity, and the financial rating analysis will look at your fund balance in comparison to your operating expenditures to assume that if no additional monies came in, how long could the city make it? And so you have over 6 months in fund balance. That is a very good position to be in. So you're going into these period of uncertainties in very good financial condition in that respect. Also point out to you over on page 40, I'm sorry, gotta get my glasses back on, 47 is the operating results of your business type activities. That is your water and sewer fund and your golf course operations. Overall, the net change in position for all of those operations combined was a positive $395,000 for the year. And then back on page 76 and 77 is the budget to actual presentation for the general fund. Revenues came in with a positive budget variance of $1,250,000 for the year. Operating expenditures came in at a positive budget variance of $1,208,000, giving you a combined total positive budget variance of approximately $2.5 million, which is excellent. So that concludes my results for the year. Be more than happy to entertain any questions the council may have.
Any questions from council? All right. I just wanted to, we look over this every single year, and it's sort of a repeat of last year and the year before. We're on solid ground financially, fiscally. I heard a lot of positive comments, a lot of adjectives that were very positive. And I heard excellent in there. And I think, we drive this home every single budget year to our city staff that we want to remain a fiscally conservative city. And we were able, I was just very proud of our ability to lower or to increase our homestead exemptions this past year, our over 65 exemption and disabled exemptions this past year. And we're still on solid ground. And I think that goes to show that we did a lot of our homework. We did the 10-year capital improvement plan this past year to figure out where we're going long after we're all off of council. And I think we're on solid footing. And, we need to also congratulate all of the businesses in the area who've had a very good year and contributed a lot in sales tax and have enabled us to continue that positive trajectory forward. So with that, is there any other questions after my rambling that anybody has? Anybody thought of anything to say? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So I'm looking for, do we need to approve the resolution? Okay. I'm looking for a motion on the resolution to accept the 2019 CAFR.
I move we approve Resolution 2020-16.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussions on the topic? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Item number 2, consider ordinance number 2020-05, amending Chapter 6, Article 1, Section 6-8 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Jersey Village, entitled Sale or Consumption of City Property. Jason Alfaro, Director of Parks and Recreation.
Honorable Mayor, Council, good evening. So this item is to consider an ordinance amending Chapter 6 and 42, permitting special events that meet specified criteria to allow the possession, sale, and consumption of alcohol in the parks. The ordinance amends Article 1, Section 6-8, and Chapter 42, Article 6, Section 42-193 by adding a provision related to beer or wine at special events. So the special event permit application would only be considered if the event meets the following criteria: name, address, email, cell phone number of the on-site coordinator who will be present at the event, copy of the license from the TABC, proof of appropriate Harris County Health Department inspection or permit, certificate of insurance naming the City of Jersey Village as additionally insured of not less than $1 million, and then any other information deemed necessary by the city manager or his designee. So with expanded quality of life programs and events, the Parks and Recreation Department has found that adult activities are continued desire for the community. This year, the department has targeted adult activities by creating an adult concert in the park and Easter egg hunt. It's kind of changed now, but so these types of activities and programs help bring our community together. So I cited some information from the 2018 NRPA assessment where they actually reached out to 1,000 adults and got 62% of those respondents that said that they go to parks to be with family and friends. So focusing on those statistics and the continued engagement of the community, we felt that adding and amending these ordinances were advantageous to the city. Again, this change does not allow alcohol in the parks at any given time, but rather allows an event by permit only to sell alcohol and allow patrons to consume alcohol in the parks only when approved by the city.
Thank you, Jason. Any questions for Jason?
I'll just say, Jason, I appreciate the fact that the ordinance really takes very careful steps to try to protect the city and to protect our citizens, by ensuring that they have proper licensing, that they have insurance. I know that's usually one of the things that people are going to be concerned with is liability, safety, all of those things. And I think that these are reasonable steps that we can take without being overly onerous for anyone wanting to hold an event. So I think that's a good plan.
Jason, did you do any research as to any neighboring communities or cities that have this?
Not necessarily neighboring communities. Each community varies. So some have by permit only. Actually, majority of them are by permit only, to be quite honest with you. Most cities don't have any kind of alcohol ordinance, just free range in the parks. It's typically by permits.
They allow it and just don't have an ordinance, or what?
Well, no, they allow alcohol by permit only, not just free will.
Where did you get the verbiage for this ordinance
Legal.
Is this original, or
No, sir, legal.
you usurped it?
Yeah, well. It was reviewed by the legal department.
Is there a law enforcement component to this? Because typically when alcohol is served or sold, law enforcement must be on site. Is there something in that, I didn't see anything in the ordinance, but is that part of the other restrictions?
Yes, sir. I mean, that would be, again, case-by-case basis, and so once we receive the permit application, from a vendor, if you will, that's where we would touch base with the police department, make sure that they're okay with it, any provisions that they have, make sure that those are implemented.
Jason, that's already covered under large event rentals and permits, correct?
Yes, sir.
I think what you're referring to would be events where the person putting on the events has to hire off-duty police officers for security.
Yes.
And so that's already addressed in our ordinance already, previous to having this piece in there. So right now, if there's a large event, if somebody's going to put on a large event, we can already require the police officers there for that.
Any other questions?
Jason, just my initial read of this is for special events put on by the city of Jersey Village, but this is for any entity that wishes to reserve a park. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, I will just say that probably the key things that are going to help from just, if anyone's thinking that, a fraternity or sorority is just going to throw a party out of the park, I think that the insurance requirements, the licensing, all of that will be a hindrance for anyone except someone who's actually putting on a well-organized, well-thought-out event. And of course, having the additional existing protections in place helps a lot in terms of ensuring safety and orderliness.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Looking for a motion on the ordinance.
Move to approve ordinance number 2020-05.
Second.
Thank you. You have a motion and a second. Any more discussion on the topic? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you.
And moving to mayor and council comments. Start with Mr. Bobby Warren down there.
Just reiterate what's already been said. Everyone, I know there are a lot of people that probably think that this coronavirus issue is overblown, but I think that a little bit of precaution will go a long way. If it turns out to be overblown, so be it. But better to have it overblown and to overreact than to have it turn out to be worse than we thought and to underreact. So just the best thing you can do is take care of yourself, get plenty of rest, drink plenty of water, keep your social distance. I think we're talking 2 meters away from other people, and avoid unnecessary contact when you can. And hopefully, if everyone does that, we'll get through this quickly.
I'm going to piggyback on the COVID-19. There's a lot of fear out there, or probably has died down a little bit with the more information we get. Don't give in to the fear. Stay informed, but don't be overwhelmed. A lot of us are now at home, and a lot of us have the ability to work from home. Means the commute time is 0. So take that opportunity, spend that time with your family. If you have kids there, call someone you haven't reached out to in a while. Take this time to do things that you wish you had the time to do, and now you do. It's good to get information, but don't live by the TV. It's just only going to set in. There's one other thing. Just take the opportunities. And lastly, off from COVID-19, is I received my census form in the mail. Take the time to do that. It's very important. We're still doing it despite the virus. So take the time to do that. And good luck to all of us. And if you need anything from the city, reach out to the city or one of your council members or mayor. We'll be helpful. Try to help.
I would certainly agree with Drew. Don't live out of fear. That is such an awful place to be. I almost feel like the guy in that disaster movie, right at the beginning, is like, the world's gonna end, and nobody listens to him. I don't mean to be that guy. I don't think the world's gonna end. I think that there are precautions that need to be taken right away, and we need to be sensible, strategic, purpose-driven for the next few weeks to protect ourselves from the future. So.
Just want to offer my compliments to city manager and city secretary and department heads for their efforts at educating themselves when this all got started. You failed to blow your own horn. But yeah, the activities or the efforts that y'all have put forth has been outstanding.
I agree. Just wanted to say, like I said, the business owners that are out there that are panicking a little bit, Austin, you just sent me an email just to point out the SBA has announced their $2 million, up to $2 million in disaster loans for businesses out there. Having gone through the SBA loan process, it's intensive. So spend the time that you have right now to get together your personal documents. For the last, I think it was the last 2 years that we had to do. So get those documents together, reach out to the SBA and start that process. I wanted to also say, as Joe Hewitt pointed out, there's some members of JVSO that they're helping, but there are many seniors out there in our community who are not signed up for the organization. If you know of those people, please reach out to them. Be neighborly. Check on your neighbors, see if they need any help. Just like if we were bearing down from a hurricane or from a flood, Jersey Village really shines in those moments, and we need to step up and help out our neighbors. City staff, I want to thank you all for your preparedness and for keeping me up to date, even in my 10 o'clock p.m. emails to you all. You've gotten back to me very quickly. I want to make sure that we keep our first responders in our thoughts and prayers. Stay safe and be mindful. Wash your hands, cough into your elbow, and keep your distance from everybody, as we've spaced out here quite nicely. So we will get through this, and we will come out the other side. But let's try to do what we can right now to get through it faster and with more healthy people. So with that, I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you.